So good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
So in the last class, we have been discussing this problem, right? When you are inserting every number into the stack, the largest number should not be fitting on to the smallest number. So I have given the rules also here. So this is what yesterday I have discussed with the other section, like what I have discussed with you. So as it is the latest, I am showing this one. So we have discussed about the suitcase example. So you cannot put a larger suitcase on a smaller suitcase. You can only keep a smaller on a larger. Like that, if you consider these things as height or weight or something, you cannot keep any larger value on a smaller value. So by doing so, when we are every time seeing, for example, we have 5 here and 100 cannot fit here. So what we used to do, we used to just make top minus minus to this position and then top plus plus and then put 100 instead of. Finally, we got based on the list, the answer is 3 and 200, right? So finally, when you are printing the list, the answer should show like this: 200 comma 3. It's like you need to print the list in a descending order. So to make it accommodating, so what you need to do, you have to eliminate what are all the things that are actually bypassing your rule. So when you need to push is the second point I have given. So the first rule is that somebody please switch off your mic. I get some disturbance. The first rule is that no larger number should sit on the smaller number. If it is so, you need to pop out the small number before you fit into the stack a large number. This is what we have discussed. And in the second case, we have said when to push. So you can see when you are trying to push it, you can follow my cursor and my chalk piece. So it says that if you find a large number, stop comparing it and push the number immediately. Make top plus plus and a of top is equal to that number. Or if you see that the top is minus 1 by this time, there is no need of any comparison because there is no number in the stack. You just increment the top and push the number there itself. That's all. So if find large number, you have to push it. So when you are trying to push a number which is smaller than already the top, then you can push it. For example, if you are trying to send 2, the top is holding a number 3. So naturally you can push the 2 inside it so the 2 can be kept here because we increase the top and we say that a of top is equal to the new number, that is 2, the element that we are receiving. So like that you can push it. So how many of you have done this logic? So I told you last time, just try to do it. How many of you have done it? Can anybody speak out?
I have done it, sir.
Okay, good. Can you just share the screen how you have done it? I'll just stop sharing it and enable it. How many of you have tried it? Please raise your hand. Okay, Shravan.
Alert from your disk is almost full.
Ajay, good. Okay.
So can you see my screen?
It is visible. So you are saying, oh, you have declared it in a stack, right? Good. Only 5 participants raised their hand. What about others? Haven't you tried it? Okay, right. Thank you, Shravan. Now they will take the screenshot of your program immediately. So now I will give you the first task, like what Shravan has done. So before giving you some tasks, I will also discuss with you some problem. Why I have discussed this problem, this type of problem is because I am trying to now give you an exercise which is equivalent to that. I will now explain you the exercise. So after explaining the exercise, your tasks are like this. So I will create an exercise for you now immediately. You have to finish that exercise in this lab itself. So I will give the time like that. Okay, so I don't give 2 or 3 days. You are happily sleeping and you are coming at the last day and asking me, sir, extend the date. It's not possible now. So I will only give up to this particular lab. And the next thing is you have to write a stack program using a class. So anyway, I will help you in this lab also. So first of all, I will help you to write a stack program using a class. So how do you write a stack class so that you can have all those things done, like push, pop, and display operations in a single class. So after discussing that one, you start doing the exercise which I try to create for you. Okay. So in the meanwhile, you are also trying these things, like the problem which I have given to you. Okay. This is the problem you have to try it now on your own. Now I will explain you the main problem. So this is taken from binary search. The figure I have prepared it. I have downloaded it from Google and I have made it for my own because I understood the problem. This problem is given in Facebook, Microsoft, and so on. So based on the companies, I have been talking about this one. So I'll just it was a problem given in Facebook. So while recruiting, the people have given this problem in the Facebook. So
Sir, sharing the screen,
Sir,
sir.
are the screen sharing?
yeah, I will share the screen. I'm sorry. Okay, so I will share this problem with you. This was given in Facebook, and it's a very nice problem actually. So I have tried it maybe day before yesterday or something. But it's very easy actually. Not tried it. Don't take such time when you are interested in programming. It's a quiet thinking. It might take you around half an hour or something if you are a very good programmer, or otherwise it will take around 1 hour if you are a average programmer. Just a second. Yes. So take it very important because from now onwards, I will give you some problems which are taken from the company's interviews. So that will be very fine. So actually, they only give the description, not this visualization. But I'm trying to give you the visualization because you are new to programming and you should be accustomed to do this type of problems. So right, let me explain this one. So if you are a real estate broker, you are selling the apartments to the customers, for example. So some customers are coming to you and asking you what are the buildings that has a straight view of a sea. For example, these are a series of apartments, right? These are just located just beside the seashore. So in Vizag, I think you know that we have oxygen towers. Like it's only the biggest apartment that we have until now, like 36 floors or something. And there is another apartment which is the next highest is 21 by the same company Lansam, which is constructed in Iskatota near MVP Double Road, I think. So these are the two highest apartments that we had. I think few others are also coming. But anyway, we are talking about this problem as if they are all located in a sequence. So I think the seashore is here. So I'll just show you the seashore. Yeah, the seashore is here. See my red mark. This is seashore. So in this way. So in the east, towards the east, the seashore is there, for example. This is not important, but just for you to understand. The story is like this. Now, the real estate broker will come to you and ask you about designing a program, which by giving the height of the buildings, it should give immediately the answer which building will actually have a sea view. Now let us discuss this answer and tell which buildings have a sea view. And now let me discuss this. Yeah. Does 50 has a sea view? Can you
No,
tell me
sir.
here?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Why? Until 40, 50 has a sea view, but after the construction of the 60th building, 50 is obstructed. So 50 will not have any sea view. That's correct. And does 40 has a sea view?
No, sir.
No. Right? 60?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
It is having a sea view because 60 is the highest height here. That means in terms of feet, it is 60 feet. So this building has highest now. What about 50?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because after 50 there is 30, 45, 48, which are all less. Fine. Okay, I will put the tick here. Okay, right. What about 30?
You
No,
can't.
sir.
Yeah, until 45 and 48 are constructed, that means pushed into this. You imagine this place as a stack. Until this building and this building are constructed, 30 is having a view, but now 30 is not having any view, so it is obstructed by the building 45. Sorry. Okay, it is obstructed, so I'm just cancelling it. Now what about 45?
No, sir.
It is also obstructed. What about 48?
It can see completely, sir.
Yes, it can see completely because this is the last apartment until now. If somebody constructs another apartment beside it, then 45. If its height is greater than 48, then 48 also can have no sea view and it is also obstructed. And now your answer should not return like 60, 50, 48. We only give the heights as input, but your thing is to give the building number. So the building numbers will start like this. The first building is having 0th number, 1. So you all already have if you are living in an apartment, a very big apartment, you have blocks, right? A block, B block, C block, D block, like that. So we have the series of apartments which start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, for example. And your answer should return a list of the building numbers. That means 2, 3, and 6. This is the list that has to be written as an answer. So your real estate broker can easily now deal with the customers that anybody has a attitude towards only having an apartment with sea view or a scenic view. They will ask the real estate broker what are the apartments that are having this one, and he can immediately run this program and see that the 2, 3, 6 are the apartments which are having the sea view and the others are not having it. So this is how you have to write the program. So imagine like the previous program is something different from this. We are sending the numbers and based on this we are popping it and pushing something, and finally after, excuse me, yeah, I'm having some internet trouble sometimes, so that's the reason I'm stopping it for a second. And here you are just finally returning a number, so a series of numbers which are finally fit into it in a descending order. But see, a small twist is that you are not printing the numbers. These are the height here, like 60, 50, 48. But instead, you are printing their index numbers. Index numbers. Based on the input I give you, you are printing their index numbers. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
No. Any other people? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So now you start doing it. Okay. In the meanwhile, I will just try to explain you about how we create this stack programming. Yesterday, which I have explained, but anyway, I will type it newly for you. So until now, I'm discussing about only the stack concept, and I haven't done a program for you. So I'll just try to do a program. So yesterday we have discussed with the other section, but I want to discuss with you also. Now I want to declare a stack as a class. So I have given them like a work and I explained them, but without waste of time, I will just explain it to you. You can try it out. I think already Shravan and others have tried it using the classes only, I think. So let me try to do it for you. So I want to create a class called stack. Okay. Now in this, I want to give the top as class variable. What is a class variable? Why should I give top as -1 as a class variable? Can anybody judge?
So that we can use it toward the program.
Yes, throughout the program we can use, and also how many stack objects you create, all the objects will be initialized with the top as -1. So there is no need for you to give a separate input, because class variables are something like that. So I said to you, right, a car having 4 tires, it should be a class variable because all the cars will have 4 tires. No other extra tire will be there like your lorries or buses. So all cars will have 4 tires, it's compulsory. Whether it is a very big Tesla or Benz or Audi or it is small Maruti, it should be having 4 tires definitely. And so these type of variables are called class variables. So every stack object should be initialized with a top is equal to -1. What is a stack object actually? It should be containing an array of fixed size. In our thing, we are having a list as an array, right? Which is of fixed size. And it has a top. So it comes like a package. It will be coming like a package. For example, you are buying a remote control helicopter or a plane. So, all the wings, the wheels, everything are kept in separate locations. Later on, you have to attach them, right? If you have already bought that type of planes and cars. So later you have to assemble them and you have to play. But they all come like a package. So we are giving it like a package. As I said to you, the class is always a package type of thing. Okay. So I am putting top is equal to -1, and I am also initializing an array. How do I initialize? So I will say definition, I am using a constructor. So during the initialization of the stack object itself, self is compulsory as I told you. What is self here indicating? What is self indicating here?
Class, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me check if I don't write self here. So I will say I am getting an array. Okay, I'm getting an array. So I will say that I will leave it like this. So maybe self dot array is equal to array. This is the mistake that was done yesterday by some student, because after a long time he forget it. So I want to just reiterate it for you also, because you will also do this type of mistakes. You will forget what is self actually. So now I have given a constructor where I am initializing an object, and I am just trying to send an array which is a fixed size and give it to its array. So both top and self.array are in my package, and this self.array is fixed with the array which I am receiving. Okay, now see what I am doing now. So what I will do is I will create an array. I can take different names because this is global frame and this is local variable and this is instance variable. See the difference between them. If anything that belongs to a function is called a local variable, and all the local variables can be called directly like this. Any variable that is instance or class variable should be indicated with self. And I will also speak about the importance of self once again, because you might have already forgot it because it's a first unit. As long as the student sees the subject as a semester subject and the units as per the unit exam, you will never gain the knowledge. A repetitive of practice of will definitely give you something to you, some knowledge to you. Now coming back to the array, I will have a fixed one. How do you have a fixed one? None into some 5. So I'm giving an array of this type. So what will happen if you try to print this array? I'll just put it into mask and show you what will happen if you just print this array. So print this array, what will happen? Just try to execute this.
Sir, print spelling wrong.
Yeah, print spelling wrong and indentation is also wrong. P-R-I-N-T. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Now, when we execute this one, you can see that a list with some size of 5 is given and all are initiated with none. So we cannot have a blank list because garbage values will be there. So what I am doing is that I am giving it as none. Most probably garbage values will not be there. In C programming, we just have something like this. If you want to have a fixed size array, we can say int array of 5 something. That's all. This is enough. But it is not possible in Python because list is an expandable thing because it is constructed as linked list. But we have no other option. There is no array in Python. So definitely we have to use list because list looks like array. It looks like array, but it's not implemented like array. But because it looks like array, let us use that one. We don't want to use any predefined functions of the list. I want to declare the list as array itself and I want to fix that size. Because array in Python can be also done like this, right? Because it's a list. You can have an empty list and you can say array dot append of something like this. But because I don't want to use such things, I don't want to create a dynamic list. I want to create a static list of some size. And the top moves between only this size from 0 to 4 because there are 5 elements. I don't want anything like this, which I have written in 13 and 14 line, which is very dynamic. So I can expand n number of times, but it is not possible for me in the stack now. So I'm just not doing that one and eliminating this. So I will create a stack object so1 is equal to stack of that array I am passing array. So whenever I see this particular array, I remember that Viva interview. So that is the famous dialogue, right? Array ain't right. This comes from when he asks what is array actually. So please define array. He says that we can use array in different language communications, and he says array. What is this? Array ain't right. So if you are a Telugu person, you will definitely understand this joke because everybody has seen this Viva interview. But that's available in YouTube actually. It's a little bit funny. Okay, coming back to this, we have this array. So so1 is equal to stack of array, and we are passing this one. And let us see what is the error here. So at the line number 12, I'm trying to initialize a stack object with an array sending into it. So this array will be received here, and this array will be copied into the stack objects array, instance variable array. See the difference between them. This array is belonging to the global frame. This is received by a local variable of the constructor. And this local variable, whatever that it is received here, will be transferred to the instance variable array. Okay. See how many lists that we have declared now. Can anybody tell me now? Based on this?
3, sir.
Three. One in the global frame, the other one as a local variable in the constructor, and the other one as instance variable, right? These are the 3 lists that we have and 3 arrays. And this is the array that we finally use every time. Okay, let us see what will happen if we execute this. This is the mistake that was done by him last time. Yeah, what is that error that it is giving? Can you read down this error?
One position argument, but 2 are given.
Yeah, what is the error there then?
Missing self over there.
The reason is, I will tell you here. So if you miss self, actually in this line number 12, SO1 and array are both sent as arguments. And here they should be received. The parameters have to receive the arguments here. So for example, what will happen, the SO1 will be now becoming an array. Did you understand? The SO1 now becomes an array. What about accommodating array? So it should be coming like this. So both SO1 comma array will be coming here. But what happens is, because the first argument will be allocated to SO1, now our array will become SO1. And what about accommodating array here? This is the wrong thing that people will do if you don't write self in the methods. Now you might ask me, sir, only self should be allocated to the object. You know, when you write self like this is the correct word, right? This is the correct way of writing your method. So what happens now? Your SO1 will be allocated to self and your array will be allocated to your array. So without any confusion, I will make it as a. That's probably fine. So you will have it. So your array will be allocated to A and SO1 will be allocated to the self. This is how the pattern that comes here. But when you don't write self here, A will become SO1. So SO1 will be received by A. So A will become an object now. But where do you accommodate array? This is the problem. Now you get a doubt. Sir, self should only accommodate the object, right? How A will accommodate the object? Did you got this doubt? Anybody? Self is only accommodating the object. How here A is accommodating the object and discarding array? How it is possible? Any answer from your side? By the way, do you agree that self is compulsory whenever you write something as a method in a class? Is self as a name compulsory?
Self represents the instance, no, sir. So it should be there, no.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. It should be there, but is self really necessary as a name? Why can't I write? If somebody has learned Java or C++, they already know what is a this pointer, right? This pointer also indicates an instance. So let us execute this one, whether this will work fine or not. Now try to execute this. It is working fine then. See here. So instead of this, I will keep my some name, some variable, whatever it might be. Not every time self as a name is important. Self is a default notation to tell you that that parameter, whatever the method it might be, the first parameter should be left over to the object. అంటే అది ఎలాంటి మెథడ్ అయినా మనం ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కోసం ఫస్ట్ పారామీటర్ ని వదిలేయాలి, whether it is my or self or this or something. Even I can write Kranti also there. Now you see, it will work for this. Okay, so naturally you will write my, right? For example, if you are talking about yourself, you say my pen, my book. So at that particular point of time, if you are the object, you say it's my pen, right? You will not say it's a pen, right? Sir, I am taking my pen, I am taking my book. So this my indicates you itself. So if I am saying my pen, it is Kranti's pen. So because Kranti is an object there, so you can write self, you can write my, you can write me, you can write I, whatever you want, you can write it. Any variable can recognize it as that. So in the earlier case, you have written just A, right? It's the first parameter and the only parameter. So what happens? That A will be allocated to the object. So object comes in place of A. Now there is no place for array. Any variable you can take for accommodating an object. So the only condition is the first parameter should only be accommodating the object. So if there is only one parameter, it is the only first parameter and it will only accommodate. What about the other things that we are receiving? So always it is compulsory that you write a self or whatever it might be to accommodate an object there. So that object will become this one. Then you might ask me, why do we require that? We are creating an object and calling it, it can directly work without self. No, because class is a concept in which there are functions and you don't know which function you want to use, right? And which top you want to use. For example, the top is -1. So I have created another object. You see, SO2 is equal to stack of array. This is another object. For example, if I don't know, if I don't send self, then your computer has a confusion which top I need to use, because sometimes SO1 stop might be 1 and SO2 stop might be 2 based on your operations. The top value will change, right, for each one. So how do the computer know that which stop should be used? So that is the reason we need to say self. So self indicates that particular top. So SO1 stop, SO2 stop. Then the computer will understand what to do with it. Okay. If you understand the importance of self, I will skip this one and go back to my coding. So now, after creating SO1, a stack object in which we are sending an empty array of fixed size, now our thing is to do the operations. The first operation is so1.push of sum 5, so1.push of 6, so1.push of 7. Now I want to display it so1 dot. So I will write the operations first and then I will write the code. You remember the code, right? That we have discussed on board. So1 dot display. Next one is so1 dot pop. That's what I want to do. Pop means always taking out the last element which is at the top position. Next, so after popping, I will try to display them. Now I have to write all these functions. Now it is your turn to define these functions. Definition, push, self, comma, element that you are receiving. Now tell me what I should do now. What is the first step in pushing?
Top equals to top plus 1, sir.
Can I write simply top is equal to top plus 1? Is it correct?
No, sir, you have to write self.top.
Yes, correct. Because I said the top is a class variable. All the class and instance variables belong to the instances, the objects. All the variables belonging to the object should be recognized with the object itself. That means the self. Otherwise, how the computer will know which object's top it is? You are simply saying top is equal to top plus 1. At that moment, it will say it is a local variable. See how it will be doing. See, I will run this one and ask you for the error. See. Now let's run it and see the error, what the error will come. See, what is the error? Read the error.
Local variable top referenced before assignment.
Yes. So it is thinking that it is a local variable. But if you want it to recognize it as a class variable or an instance variable, definitely you have to give it like self dot, because now you are working on SO1. So it is like SO1 dot top is equal to SO1 dot top plus 1. That's how you have to do it. Yes. What is the next step now? You incremented the top. What is the next one?
We'll have this value in years.
Yeah. How you will have line? Dictate the line.
Array of top self dot top, sir.
Yes, self dot array, because we are doing all the operations in our array itself, which is just initialized with a fixed one. Self dot array of self dot top, because our top is incremented, right, is equal to the element. Simple thing. Okay, so self dot array loki self dot top ekkada undo akkada element తీసుకొని పెడుతున్నాం. You are inserting an element, you are pushing an element into the position of where the self dot top in a self dot array is there. Okay, next one. That's enough for your push at this moment. Now popping it. So popping means there is no need for you to give the element, right? It's simple thing, like if you just try to pop, the last element will be removed. How to remove it? Tell me. Based on our code earlier.
Self dot top equals to self dot top minus 1, sir.
Yes, because you don't have a Natara's eraser or some eraser, you have to only make top minus, that's all. Self dot top minus 1, that's all. Fine. Next, display. It's only this is also calling this display. Yeah, tell me what to do with display. What are the elements that you display in between what range?
From 0 to top, sir.
Yes, from 0 to top. So you can say for I in range 0 comma self dot top plus 1, right? So up to that top plus 1 you will go. That means 0 to top. And you try to print what is that you have to print? Self dot array of I, right? Self dot array of I you are printing because I starts with 0 and ends at top because it is up to top plus 1. And to make every array, every print like that in a single line, I'm giving it like this. End is equal to this one. Okay. So if you don't give end like this, all your list, all your stack elements will be printed one after the other and you will get confusion. So for every round of display calling, I will print all the elements in the stack in a single line and come down. So for coming down after the for loop, I have to give a print. Otherwise, it will be in the same line. So this indicates that when you are printing the elements in a stack, for every iteration, it will have a space after you print the first element and it will next give the second with a space and so on. It will not go to the next line. After printing all the elements in the stack with spaces in between them, then after the for loop, it will go to the next line. So this is the best way for us to indicate. Otherwise, it will be getting confusion. So let me first give you the confusion, then you will understand what exactly the importance of this. Now, let me execute this. Close. And I will go to the last because you know how to execute this one. See, how do you know which iteration it is? 5, 6, 7, 5, 6. See, it is not good, right? We don't know when we have called the display. So because all of them are writing like this. So for this, my solution is this one. So what I will do is, I will have this one and then print. So now you see what happens according to the execution. We'll go to last. Now you can understand, right? This is the first time I am calling display. Next, after popping it, the 7 is popped out. And the final thing that is remaining is 5, 6. That's all. So I think now you understand how to write a stack operation while executing it. You can just take a screenshot and try it out on your own. Now you can take a screenshot, but do not copy it. Based on the explanation I have made it for you, you can do that. So it's like revising your unit 1 with the class concept. It is important. Okay. Now, let me go back to this. Okay. So now I will upload this exercise for you. I will be uploading it in VPL Virtual Programming Lab so that it will be little bit flexible for us because there are no linked lists here. I will upload this one. So after I upload this, you start doing it, and in the meanwhile, you can practice this type of problem. I will explain it to you after you complete the exercise. After the date is over, I will explain this one because it's little bit complicated. If somebody has no idea and if you have some doubts, I need to explain it. Okay, when compared to the previous solutions and previous questions, it is a little bit complicated. To think about it, it's very important as you are the beginner programmers. Please try it in the meanwhile. If you can take this, take it as a screenshot. I also have to take it as a screenshot because I will upload this as a problem for you. Okay, right. I'll create an exercise. In the meanwhile, you try to do it. See, one thing is that first try out the program which I have discussed with you earlier. If you are good at writing that program, like that example, like 230 something I have, 3 or something I have given, then you can do this
It's 10
exercise.
o'clock.
Okay. Shravan, Shravan, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have asked me a question like if the question is 50, 30, 40, 50, then the answer will be. Let me. Is it about the building problem you are asking that or the before problem?
Building problem, sir.
Before problem?
Building problem, sir.
Building problem. Oh no. Yeah, I will post it to everybody. Just you can also see what his doubt is actually. So he's asking like that. You can also check in the chat. Okay, let me iterate that. The condition is that if you have the same height, also it is not possible to view, right? So, for example, if you have a building just beside you with the same height, that also will have a slight obstruction. It is not a clear view until unless you have a building at least 1 feet lesser than your building. So, here, for example, when you have given like 50, 30, 40, 50, the first 50 will be visible only up to 40 because the last one gets to 50. So the final answer will be only 50. Your second answer that you have proposed. Understood, Shravan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, check out the exercise has been uploaded. I have given the date up to tomorrow night, 11:59. But you need to try it now. Please go on trying it. So first of all, do the problem which I have discussed earlier with you, and then if you have an idea, then you go out with this problem. Do not copy, because now it is VPL. I will check the similarity also now. Please try it on your own. So if you have any doubts, please you can ask me now. Any conditions I might be missing here, any ambiguity, you can clarify it now. Check the input and output also. I think after a long time you have been doing in VPL. So just revise yourself how you have done in the previous exercises and do it in the same way. So here it is like I am giving you the list, and based on the list that you receive, one by one I am giving it. So using a for loop, you have to decide. So based on this, the first input I am giving is, you can observe that this one, the 7 indicates the first unit. The first input I am giving is the 7, which indicates the number of buildings I want to give, because their heights. It's like your list maximum length, and then it is followed by all the elements. That means the heights that are entered. So do some process, and the output should be printing a list. It's not written here. Earlier you are returning or doing something, right? You are not returning here. You are printing it. It's not a test case that is implemented in the code check. It's different. So you are printing here. So print the list so that it will print something like 2 comma 3 comma 6. Do not print it as a for loop. Print the list itself. So I have done it like print array. So all nuns are printed. So like that you print whatever the list you want. So print that list. So that list will be matching with this one, and then your test cases will be executed. So with the diagram also I have uploaded all the conditions that are really required. You can just go through this one, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I have this time given only 2 free evaluations. Please be careful.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Actually, I saw this now only. I like checked in the grades. So last assignment, the switches one,
Hmm.
I submitted it late, sir. So instead of the code I submitted,
Hmm.
the previous, like the one which I after I revised, which I submitted, the previous one which I submitted, that got submitted, and then I got only 50%, sir.
Okay, but you
So
send the date for now. What to do? So we will think about it later. Keep your program ready with me. Okay.
okay, sir.
Your name.
Ishita, 52, sir, roll number.
Okay. Okay. Keep your program ready. We will look into that later.
Okay, sir.
The hint is that it almost works like your insertion sort, right? Because if you keep your right hand like that and you are checking with all those things until you get some, the condition satisfied, right? Until the larger number is found, until the smaller number is found, you go on swapping it. So it works like that. So you need two for loop. You need two loops, one for and while, whatever it might be. So the complexity will be n square. If you can reduce more, that will also be fine.
Uh-huh.
You can also look into while else also. There will be for else and while else. Go to Google and browse what is while else in Python. So that means if the condition of the while is not true, while coming out, it will go to else part, like your if condition. Check the condition. If it is not satisfying the condition, it will go to else part and do the necessary and get out of the loop. So that's how you need to do it. So you can just for a hint go to while else. Just try out while else also. Okay, keep on doing it. We will meet in the next session and discuss new concept of implementing stack in a linked list. Bye bye for now.